Welcome to Coming to New England. My name is Sam Comfort, and my guest today is my lovely mother, Valerie. Thank you for joining me today. So, Mom, what is your full name?
Valerie Rodman Comfort.
Nice. And where were you originally from?
Oh, I'm originally from Natick, Massachusetts.
All right. And were you born in Natick, Massachusetts?
Actually, I was born in Framingham, Massachusetts.
Ah, that's where I was born too.
Yes, yes.
How many siblings did you have growing up?
I have two sisters. Leslie is the middle sister, and Liz is the older sister. My sister Liz, the oldest, is absolutely hysterical. She used to make all these stories. We used to do this with my other sister too. We used to make our own soap operas with a reel-to-reel tape, and they were hysterical. And they just used to have me laugh and laugh and laugh. And then later it transcended to I would do it with my friends when we'd come over. So it would be like all of us doing it. It was a lot of fun. And growing up down the Cape, I was very, very lucky to go to Cape Cod every summer. Very lucky. We rented a house and all of us were there. And those are some of the best memories, being on the beach.
Definitely. Sounds like a fun childhood.
Oh, yeah.
So how did your family end up in Massachusetts?
Okay, now my mother's side I don't know too much. My dad's side I can tell you a lot more. My great grandfather Reuben came from Russia. There were 4 brothers, and the army was coming in. I don't know exactly what year. It was probably 1901. I don't know, but so he said, get out of here, just leave. So the 4 brothers left. So Reuben, great-grandfather Reuben great-grandfather Reuben came over and snuck on the boat, landed in Ellis Island. And that's how I got to be here, because eventually he met his wife, and we go from there.
Nice. And now we're here.
Yep.
So where did you go to high school, and what are some of your favorite memories from that time?
I went to Natick High School, and some of my greatest memories don't have to do with school. It was outside of school, hanging out with my friends. I used to meet my best friend over at her house, and we'd put on our makeup and do our hair real big, and we'd go over fun and games and play video games and arcade games and meet up with friends and just have fun, go to parties, and those are pretty much it. Shopping, lots of shopping.
Nice, just a typical 80s teenager.
Yeah, yeah. There's quite a few movies that I could compare it to.
Nice. Do you remember any popular fads or trends from your teens that you look back on?
Neon. Wow, it was funny. I was just talking about this, and now I'm thinking about it. Neon was the big thing.
Yeah.
The hair, the tunnel hair, pop collars. But I was more into like the punk scene and the rock scene, so it was more zippers and spikes and stuff
Leather
like
and all
that. But
that.
I transcended. I didn't stay in one category.
Pretty fashionable.
Yeah, music was the big.
Oh yeah. So if you could have done anything different during that time, what would it have been? Why or why not?
What I would have done differently was travel. And I would advise any young person, if you have the opportunity to travel, to do it. I had some opportunities that I didn't take because of responsibilities, or a boyfriend got in the way. I say go and travel as much as you can and see the world and explore it. So now I'm kind of doing it later in life.
Where were some of the places that you could have gone at that time?
I could have gone to Greece. I could have gone to a lot of places, overseas and out of this country, and I kind of regret that. My dad and I were trying to plan a trip over to Israel. That didn't materialize.
So you said music was a huge part of your teen years, and I remember you telling me that you were an avid concert goer. So what are some of your favorite memories as a concert goer?
Oh, one of my best was my very, very, very first concert was the Ramones. I was 14 years old, and that was at Framingham State College. So I went and saw the Ramones. I was right up front. I still get emotional about it because it was such a major, pivotal time in my life. And I jumped up on stage. It was my very first concert, jumping up on stage, and got back down and just danced. And it was the spur of the moment thing. So that was the big one. Then after that, I think it was the Police. I saw them a couple of times. That was amazing. And a lot of the shows that I saw, I feel blessed that I got to see some real legends.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some legendary bands right there. And what artist or band do you wish you could see that you never got the chance to see?
T-Rex.
T-Rex?
T-Rex.
I've never heard of them.
Oh, check them out.
Okay.
There's a song that your dad used to sing to you called Telegram Sam.
Okay, now I remember
Yes,
that.
and you would know it when you hear it. Oh, I know that, but check out T-Rex. Just do the greatest hits. That would have been an interesting show because it was glam and it was rock and it was so different. I mean, I could go on to legendary, say, big bands. I love big bands. Coltrane would be like, wow, you know. But I think as more modern, that influence would have been T-Rex. Kind of fascinated with T-Rex.
Nice. So, what did you receive your degree in higher education?
Paralegal studies, my associates.
Where'd you get your associates from?
I did it online with Everest while I worked.
Nice. So, could you tell us about your father's experience in higher education?
My dad was a pharmacist. He was the very first person in the family to go to college. He was extremely, extremely intelligent. He went to Northeastern. He went to New England Pharmaceutical College, and he had his doctorate in pharmaceuticals.
So, out of all the things that you've learned from your parents, what do you feel was the most valuable that you take with you today?
Definitely my dad, and I think I passed it on to you and your sister, is that any mistakes you make, don't beat yourself up about them, learn from them and go forward. And that's the best advice, and it's got me through things personally as growing up and as an adult.
Definitely. What stories have come down to you about your parents, grandparents, or distant ancestors?
Oh, I have a lot of stories about your namesake. Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam only went to school. I learned this later. He only went up to grade 8. He joined the military when he was 40. And he was kind of a force to be reckoned with. He was very strong, a big bear of a man, but very loving, very caring. And I remember my dad, this guy was really mean to my dad, like really bad. I think he smacked him. I think he hit him. And so Uncle Sam found out and got so mad and picked the guy up. And after he talked with him, and he ended up picking him up and threw him through a plate glass window. And also another story. This is great. My dad's dad was involved with AMLO, the theater industry, was my dad's godfather, and my dad used to skip school and sneak in and go see shows, and he'd get busted, and he's like, oh, and he's like, my dad runs this place, and he'd get in so much trouble. And another thing, because vaudeville, before the movies and everything, vaudeville acts would be there. He'd wake up as a child and he'd come in, he's like, what's going on? There'd be the Marx Brothers would be there, Mae West, he would tell me stories about Mae West coming to him and go, oh, come here, aren't you a sweet little boy? And he met everybody, and he'd wake up, they were always entertaining, he'd wake up, he'd never know who was gonna be there. So it was always really neat hearing the stories about when he was a little kid, meeting all these really famous people that, I love antiques and vintage, so this is like, I love that little piece of history that has those stories that were handed down.
Nice, nice. So you said you like antiques and vintage things. So could you tell us about your experience with that and your little side business with that?
Oh, yes. Well, my mom is an antique dealer, and so I kind of picked up doing that with her. And then I'm a Plan B person. If you want something, you work towards it. So I loved the antiques and the vintage, and people would come and ask me to try to help. Oh, can you find this? Can you find that? Or I had a lot of friends that are photographers, and they'd say, oh, well, I want this for the shoot. So I ended up turning it into a business, a little extra side business that I do on Etsy. And I do that, and I'm very passionate about it. It's a lot of fun. I get a lot of enjoyment.
And what's the name of your business?
Auntie Val's Closet.
Nice. How many children do you have? What are their names, and how did you choose their names?
Sam Comfort, my son. You were named after your great uncle, and Alex, your sister, was the oldest. We were torn. We wanted to go with an Al because my dad, Alan, and your great-grandfather, Albert. So we went with Alexandra.
Nice. So what was your proudest moment as a parent?
Oh, there's so many, but you can say, oh, the first time you said, mama, or walking and doing these things. But I think the thing, and I think I can say this for your dad too, and if I can be so bold, that your goal as a parent is for your child to be better than you, to be self-sufficient, to be able to take care of themselves, to speak up for themselves, and to those that need somebody else to be there, to be a leader, a mentor. And that's it. And that's my proudest moment, because I feel that my children have done that.
So,
and doing that.
Nice, nice. So what accomplishments are you most proud of yourself?
My children. In all honesty, my children.
So are there any goals that you hope to accomplish in the future?
My goals, to do more travel, because I got some make-up time to do there. And my side business. I mean, I have the day job, not dissing the day job. I am grateful. It's great company. But my passion is the little side business. I'd love to be able to put more time and energy to that, because I'm so passionate about it and get so much fulfillment from it. And other people get fulfillment and happiness from it too.
So how is the world today different from when it was when you were a child?
Do we have enough time?
The floor is yours.
It's very different, and parts of it, I feel that a lot of the childhood is getting lost. When I was growing up, there was a real sense of neighborhood, going outside and playing, parties in the woods. You didn't have all the technology. I think there's so much intimacy, personal, lost. It's all digital and floating around on the internet, and it's disheartening. Your dad and I were like, okay, no computers, no this, no that, because kids should be outside playing, physical activity, and you don't see that anymore. You really don't. I mean, it's kind of rare. I mean, you can drive by streets. You don't see kids on their bikes going back and forth to each other's houses. You see these grand play sets. Where are the kids? There's no kids on them. They're all inside. So that has really been an impact. The media. I mean, we know. I don't know if it's a matter of we know more because there's so many ways to get it. But there's always been violence, and the abductions of children and things like that. You didn't really hear about that. Things like that didn't happen. Now it just seems so rampant.
So what world events had the most impact on you while you were growing up? Did any of them personally affect you and your family?
I would have to go way, way back. I have two things, and one of them is definitely the Holocaust. It didn't affect us. We were away from it, but the stories and the knowing your uncle was over there and his stories, and that will always sticks with me. So it's kind of, it's always there. It's always there. It's mainly the stories that I heard. It's the aftermath.
What were some of the stories that you heard from Uncle Sam when he was overseas, whether it was during World War II or any of the other wars that he served in?
I remember this one is the most vivid that sticks out, is that he was at a concentration camp. And so he was there and he just looked around and it hurt, and just how he expressed how he felt. I can't verbally give it, but how he felt, it was awful. And he said he went up and he took one of the stars and put it on him, like he somehow pinned it on him, and just how he was just taking the people out and what he saw. It was a bit much.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. So I remember you telling me while I was growing up that your father, my grandfather, had a chance to play for a professional baseball team. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. My dad was a pitcher, knuckleballer, and he played on, he was on the farm, Boston Farm League. I forget which name was it. I forget which name, what team it was on. But it was either baseball or college pharmacy. So he had a choice, and he went to become the pharmacist, which was a good idea because he ended up with horrible bursitis, really bad bursitis. So as he puts it, I chose wisely.
Nice. And finally, how would you define the American dream?
How would I define the American dream? Well, the American dream has changed a lot since when I was young, and I think that's part of growing as a person. I originated with a house, the picket fence, and all that. Now it's just a matter of enjoy life. Just enjoy it. It's not about things. Appreciate what you have and go for it. Reach for those dreams and you can have it. Love what you're doing. You don't have to have the house. You can rent and you can still have all those things. A lot of it started out with materialism. I think maybe it's starting to come at this point in how things are. It's about survival and being happy.
Definitely, definitely. Well, thank you so much. It has been my pleasure to interview you today. Thank you again for being here. This is Sam Comfort, and you've been watching Coming to New England.
Thank you.